It's the Daily Comedy News with your host, Mark Pires. Join us for breaking headlines and all kinds of comedy shenanigans. Brought to you by The Beat Seat.
Welcome, my friends, welcome to the longest running daily variety show, the MarkinsPires show. Day 1924 in a row. Tomorrow, the total eclipse, the path of totality. Are you going to be there? I know a lot of people that are traveling to the path of totality. I don't know if it's a good thing to be on the path of totality, if you're better off being someplace high location in a general area that's not close to the eastern seaboard. I want to talk to you guys about that. This is, again, the longest running daily variety show, and we get right into it now. We don't do the whole intro with Zabrowski. We do the show, and then when Zabrowski gives us the woohoo, then we're just into it, you know? But what do you guys think? I see my brother Ron Tyler's in the house. Harvey's here, S-Coop, and Main Girl. If you're out there, say hello. Guys, we're talking about it tomorrow, the total eclipse of the heart. They're going to also be playing it on the loudspeaker from the sun. You guys, I know you're just looking forward to that moment. But I'm a little nervous about this, guys. We've never, that I recall, I don't remember ever having an earthquake here in Connecticut. And when that happened the other day and then we had the aftershock, I said to myself, this is a bit weird. They're talking about the Great Atlantic Rift or Great Atlantic fault line. And that it's possibly worse than the San Andreas Fault, which we've always known as the worst fault. You don't want to be that. They made a movie called San Andreas. Also, a really great game called GTA San Andreas. Right? You guys remember it. I rocked that game back in the day, you know. But anyway, guys, just wanted to touch base with you and see what you think about this. Had a pretty action-packed day. You see over here this beat seat. I built 4 beat seats. This show is sponsored by the Beat Seat, the only drum in the world for guitar players, for solo musicians. It's the only full-body drum. If you're a percussionist, if you're a singer-songwriter, if you play trumpet, whatever, everybody needs a Beat Seat. And it's also an extremely powerful sensory therapy drum. I went to an event today where I was meeting families with children with a special need and had a bunch of children who have a special need sit on the Beat Seat and play around for a little while. One kid sat on it, his parents said he never sits and plays for that long on anything. I thought that was a really cool comment. And we had a lot of really good reactions to the Beat Seat. People were sitting on it, playing it, and a lot of people were met. I have a few possible doors to open up and see if there's anything on the other side. This is a really powerful drum, guys, not just for what I do here, but again, for people with a special need. The other hard part here is I have the patent. I'm the only person on earth who could create it because of that. And we have an issue where when you create a better mousetrap, the people that have the mousetrap don't want the new mousetrap out there, because then their mousetrap's crap. And reality is this drum makes everything else obsolete. And once people learn that, they're going to want one. It's got 4 playable panels, 2 snares, 2 different snares, 2 different frequencies. And everywhere you hit it sounds and feels different. So let's get into the show, Mr. Matt Zabrowski. Get it up. What's that? Oh, sorry. He wants me to throw it to him. Go ahead, Zabrowski. Woohoo! Sunday night woohoo from Matt Zabrowski. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So I'm going to bring you guys in here. Let's see what we have. I pulled up the map to see this path of totality. It's actually the thumbnail for the show. But let's pull it up together. Since we have Ron here in the chat, maybe he can answer a few questions for us about this, or we could see what he thinks about it. Are we going to be running into some weird scenario where a major earthquake distributes the land in America? It's a very real possibility based on what I'm seeing or hearing. I saw this map. It's like the worst case scenario map if there was a major earthquake in this fault line. There's also one down by Nashville that it's basically right here in this line. And there were earthquakes back, I want to say in 1811, that were ridiculous. And they had, they had aftershocks for months afterwards, just tremendous devastation back then. So there is a lot to talk about here. I want to see what you guys think about it. Let's go into this. See the notable total solar eclipse in the U.S. since 1778? Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's see what we got here. Duration of the 2024 total solar eclipse. Guys, if you want to see this, head to YouTube. Welcome, Clapper. You guys are awesome. Subaru. Ian, how are you, my friend? And Samu Duaz, how you doing, buddy? If you guys are out there kicking it with Ron and S-Coop and Main Girl and Harvey, say hello. Welcome to the show. Let's find out what's going on with this total eclipse tomorrow. And are you guys going to the path? Are you guys going to be on the path of totality? I want to hear from you. Where will you be watching this from tomorrow? I'm here in Connecticut. We're going to have about 90% coverage here. I'm going to go live during the solar eclipse outside. I'm going to try to see if I can either use an extra solar crap glasses thing that we bought 10 of, and put it over my camera to film and go live and put my lavalier mic on and talk you guys through what I see. And hopefully we get through it. You know, there's a very good chance something major happens right there at 3:33. And there's a shift in the tectonic plates in the Atlantic fault. And all of a sudden we're dealing with a different world in so many different facets. It's a whole different existence. You know, it's scary if you think about, you know, and here's the thing, you know, they've been saying the same crap about the San Andreas fault for how long? Oh, it's going to peel California off into the sea. That still hasn't happened. So it's likely not going to be like now we have we have an island that goes from Maine down to Florida, and there's this huge shift between these two pieces of land where there's bridges everywhere connecting everybody. I don't think it's going to be like that. But I just want to say, if it is, it will only be because this is like a 9+. And that's why I want to see what Ron thinks. Like if we're hitting into the 9s or close to a 10, like a straight up like that movie, you know, and that's when it's potentially, you're talking about major floods. And this is another scary thought. I want to hear what you guys, if you've heard this, if this is true, that the elephants in Africa are going to higher land, to higher ground. Is that true? Helen Gale, how are you? Okay, Ron, this is a very valuable piece of input, guys. Ron Tyler, Emergency Management Associates on YouTube. Please subscribe to him. He said, I don't think anyone will have anything will happen unless the 8 million illegal buttheads cause problems. There, guys, right? You heard it from the man himself. I was going to have Dr. Wayne Doppler do a scene. You know, he is the tallest man alive. And sometimes, you know, you use the Doppler 5001. In order to get an advanced radar connection with the incoming total eclipse of the heart. Dr. Wayne Doppler. You know, guys, when you're the tallest man alive, you get the weather first, you know? It's raining. Yes, it is raining, Dr. Wayne. I created Dr. Wayne Doppler when I was 19 years old. I was driving through Darien, Connecticut, and it was pouring. And I thought to myself, how funny would it be if I created a TV show about a guy named Wayne Doppler, Dr. Wayne Doppler, and he's like the tallest man alive, and whenever it rains, he's the first one to know because the rain hits his head first. It's just such a stupid idea that turned into a real character on my show here, MarkinsPires, many, many years later. There are 5 or 6 awesome scenes of Dr. Wayne Doppler where, because this is a green screen show, if you guys head over to YouTube or X or Rumble, and I always make Dr. Wayne Doppler 12'9", you know, and he's still growing, you know? And so you see him like, he's in the movie Batmark versus Supermark. It's my first feature film. I've done 10 feature films on YouTube. And my first is probably my best. It's just my favorite because it was Batman versus Superman. And I played Supermark. I got my Batmark outfit, my Batman outfit, and my Superman outfit right over there. The Batman outfit I have is real. It's like a freaking real Batman outfit. And when I do that, I do Batmark. Guys, it's Batmark. I'm gonna freaking hell, Joanne? Which one is it? Is this one now? Unfreaking real. Turning it on again. Right in the middle of the Christopher Walken bit, guys. You know, when you're doing Christopher Walken, oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. All right, that's charging. Why isn't it freaking working? Of course it's working now, but you're in the middle of doing Christopher Walken. You're in the middle of doing Owen Wilson. Of course you're doing Owen Wilson. Go check it out. We're not gonna do it Baba Ganoush style. Is that better, famine friends? The path. Sometimes you watch a total eclipse. You there, you see the total, the path of totality. You grab a popcorn, a glass of Coke. You go. You get a look at the sun. All right, guys, seriously though, what's the story with this? Do you guys think we're gonna have a Tuesday? Do you think we're dealing with it? Because I see a lot of crazy stuff going on. They're like setting up all kinds of hazmat stuff. They're out there, biological, suits. There's something happening tomorrow. Here's the thing that I had this visual that freaked me out. I want to just share it with you because you guys know this show is about emotions and expression. And I was just thinking about something that would just blow my mind and all of our minds, and it would freaking, I don't even know. But here, just listen to this idea, this theory. They just said that the Arctic, the vortex, the polar vortex, it used to go like this or whatever, and now it's like, yeah, we're gonna go this way now. So it flipped directions. Ron confirmed that for me. Polar vortex flips, right? So now you got a flipped polar vortex, right? And you have a total eclipse of the heart happening. This total eclipse comes through, right? And as we're all watching it to the 333, just keep this in mind, 333, double-decker style. Okay, 6-6, right? I'm not even gonna say it. You're 333 in it. You get to 333, you're like, oh wow, look at the total eclipse of the heart. All of a sudden, instead of it just was like, yeah, and it goes back the other direction. Oh, then you get the earthquake deal that they said in the news, new land. You've got North America, you got the island of North America, with bridges like spanning miles across. Where's the curvature? I don't see it. Guys, every 8/10 of a mile or whatever the hell it is, you should be going down X amount. You tell me what's going on. I got my P1000. Oh, look, I could see Asia from here in Connecticut. Guys, when you have a telescope for a camera, and you're able to see someone bathing in Portugal, it's a bit of a creepy thing. Just saying, you don't want to creep people out. There's an eclipse tomorrow. Yes, Ian. How are you, my friend? Catherine Hipburn's in the house with us over here on Clapper, guys. Just so you know. And I want to make sure I'm not Elgatoing it. Okay, we're not. No, not the pole flip. Oh, goodness. You never know. So Ron, he confirmed that we had a flipperoo of the vortex. That vortex is like millions of years, maybe 750,000. Who knows how long it's been going like this. And then it was just like, let's just go that way. Right before the total eclipse of the heart. Earthquake, Nineveh. Salem, Jerusalem. We are the Nineveh 2024. God delivering the wrath. And here's the final piece of the puzzle. The leader of the land that has an X going across it just came out and slapped God in the face by recognizing people that are mentally unwell over Easter. He didn't even mention Easter. But look, we see you. Look, what? My Aunt Judy told me. I see you. We see you. I just wanted you to know that. I got bunnies all over the fucking place over here. And shit diapers, because I shit my diaper all the time. My Aunt Judy told me I should get a triple diaper, so there's no accidents in the Oval anymore. Told you guys, Huggies, sponsorship, geriatric edition. Sleep Sofa Joe in the Oval. It's on the side of the box. I got one over here. So, I'll get it later. You guys know. And you know, look, I got to take credit for that one. You know, I set it all up. I put the wheels in motion when I called Huggies, and I just let them know. You know, you got a guy in the Oval. He could go for at least 36 diapers a day for you. You know, you guys should work that. I mean, that's a profit. You know, and like, you guys don't want to make a profit, right? Huggies, they called back like within a couple minutes. Excuse me, is this Corinne? Yeah, hi Corinne, how you doing? Yeah, we're here from the Oval. Yeah, we'll take you up on the lifetime supply of diapers for the Sleep Sofa. What? No, I'm sorry, he's napping right now. No, he's always napping. No. Yeah, no, he has his hand up there, and then he's doing everything. That's why he came off the plane. Huh? What? Right? You guys know what's going on. My favorite argument is in the world, because I've been seeing a lot of stupid idiots who keep talking about someone who's been accused of things. Literally, they're trying to take out an opponent. It's mental. Like Zelensky's like this. That's very familiar. I do that myself. You know, yes, Putin too. Vladimir Putin's like, we finally are successful. We did it. Guys, they are as bad as us now. They take out of the opponent. And then you'll see the same morons be like, number 47's going to turn the DOJ against his opponents. And I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, what are we talking about over here? It's crazy. We're living in the Twilight Zone, you know. What do you guys think? Twilight Zone? Diapers everywhere, you know? You're calling it in. You got a special dumpster there for Sleep Sofa Joe, you know? Huh? What? Got the white hairs on my legs. Yeah, we know all about it. Guys, solar eclipse. President doesn't recognize Easter. And now God's coming down. Earthquake in the East Coast. I never seen one of those. I've been here my whole life. Never had an earthquake that I remember. Just 3 days before what some newscaster says, hey, that was quite an eclipse. It's nothing, that was quite an earthquake. Nothing like the eclipse earthquake we're gonna have. Like, what? And then the other newscaster's like, yeah, well, I'm on my way to higher ground now. Like, we're safe. We're safe. Maybe low Earth orbit, you know, we're the only place we've ever been, you know. That's probably the safest place to be. I'm sorry? Went to the moon? Yeah. Yeah, we went to the moon. In that vacuum, we somehow ignited a rocket to propel through a vacuum of space in tinfoil. What? Oh, you believe that still? You guys are silly, right? Goodness. Neil Armstrong. One small lie. One giant lie for mankind, right? About 31.6 million people live in the path of totality, right? The area where the moon will fully block out the sun, according to NASA, right? They know everything, nothing. The path will range between 108 to 122 miles. I have to tell you guys a funny story. So I have a genius friend who's a scientist. And every time I get together with him, I always ask these questions. Like, I don't feel us moving. Like, and if based on the math, the Earth would have to slow down and it would have to speed up in order to continue around the sun. And then the moon also would do the same thing. It's like the numbers, it's like, but I've never felt any movement ever. And like, I could put cards up and 50 years later I come back and you got a house deck of cards there is a house of cards. And it's like, you know, you just have to start questioning the simple stuff. And I'll ask him questions like that. And he's like, oh, I never thought about it. And I'm like, well, they don't tell you to think about the stuff you should think about, you know? And I have a lot of questions, you know, but I asked him once because I said, would you ever, this guy could work for anybody. He works for like one of the majors, you know? And I go, would you ever work for NASA? And he made a face, guys. This is before I asked him anything else about it. And I realized, I brought this up later to him. I go, would you ever work for NASA? And he goes, look at that. And I go, what? Why wouldn't you work for NASA? And he's like, and I think what he basically was telling me in that moment is they're full of shit. And he's like, I don't want to work for like, you know, I want to do real work. I want to create real scientific advancements, you know, and not just create like CGI effects. He made the funniest face. Oh, goodness. Look at this guy over here. What the hell has he got? I'll eat it, right? I'm pulling that up. That looks tasty. Oh, it's gone. Where did it go? No, I don't need Neutrogena. Who needs a Neutrogena? Guys, YouTube, X Rumble, you can see all this. And yes, there's an eclipse going on tomorrow. Here we go. This is where you will see, partially under the path, Vermont. I have some family members I know that are going to Vermont. A few people that are going to Canada. Is it going to be going through? Yeah, here we go, Newfoundland. Oh man, imagine going to Oak Island and actually finding some treasure instead of just keep milking it. Guys, oh look, we've got another pit. We're going to find something. Nah, it didn't work out. Next season, we're at it again. We're going to hit the B-57. We got to get that B-57. Remember you remember we had that ping on the B-57? And they were like, no, let's do the A-112. And we did the A-112, no results, you know, but next season, come back, guys. We're going to find that treasure. Blackbeard's treasure. It's there at Oak Island. Have they found anything yet on Oak Island? I stopped watching TV 6 years ago, but I remember every single season I was like, I'm like popcorn in it. Okay, they're gonna find something tonight, guys. I saw the episode. They're like, oh, we found something. And then you get there and they're like, they find a penny. Oh, we found a sixpence. But come back next season because we're opening up B-67 on this time. That was the one that we were like, let's wait on B-67. I think we got more on A-112, you know? The curse of Oak Island, that they'll never, ever, ever find anything, you know? Except for like a sixpence. But come back next season, guys. Because we hope, we're going to find it, you know? The hooked, you know, X. Remember, guys, if you're in San Antonio, Texas, if you're in Waco, Texas, with David Koresh, Dallas, Texas, Texas is massive. It's got 4 locations here this thing's going across. Then we hit Arkansas, Little Rock style. Then we're dealing with Indianapolis, Indiana. I wonder if my brother Mark Wages is going to be going and doing something. I got to touch base with him. He's in Indiana. I'm not sure if he's in Indianapolis, but he's definitely in Indiana. So he may be going down to the path. That would be pretty sweet if he does that. Dayton, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, and Syracuse. So New York is also massive, clearly. And then Burlington. Let's see. It doesn't look like, New York does not look that big right there, at least the location that it's going through. Texas, of course, looks stupid big. Anyway, guys, if you see this map I saw, basically it said that right where you see the cursor, right here along this line is this Appalachian, I don't know, this other rift here, I don't know what it's called. I forget what it's called. And then this is the Great Atlantic is over here. But there's another one right here, which is where they had that 1811. And they say that this, and again, there's a lot of theory out there, but that the sun is pulling along something. If you're a friend, or if you know Scott in Planet X News, he's been filming this. This thing looks like it's 50 times the size of Earth because it's about, you got the sun, and then this thing's like this big on the sun. So it's massive. And every like 28 to 30 days, this thing does a full circle around the sun. And I think what a lot of people are thinking is going to happen is that tugging, the gravity from that thing is going to pull on Earth as this whole event takes place. And we may see something crazy happen. And maybe not. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping this is just another one of those events where people are like, guys, November 2012 or whatever the hell it was, you know? And it just comes and goes. Just comes and goes. Remember, the other thing that people don't realize is that going right through Wages Town. Is it really? So Wages got to be there. He's going to have to go and get this. These events come and go. And no one knows the time and place. No one knows the final day. No one knows the final hour, the final moment. So I think that this is just another scenario where everybody in the world's like, oh my gosh, there's an X. We are a heathen country. We have a president who he calls himself a Roman Catholic and doesn't even mention the supporters of the Catholic faith on the most religious and sacred day of the year. You know, the Jewish faith has, I think it's Rosh Hashanah is the most religious day for them, and Easter is the most religious day in the Catholic religion. And the president decided to see people, to say he could see them, that I understand that you're there. When I look at you, I still think that you're what you were born as, but I understand. You know, and you can make the case that everybody's mentally unwell when it comes to their belief system, and that people who are religious and believe in God and believe in Yahushua and they believe in a second coming are mentally unwell, or people who were born one thing all of a sudden believe that they're zebras or giraffes and you have to affirm. That's mentally unwell. And all these things can be considered mentally unwell, absolutely. But when you are campaigning on being a Roman Catholic and you go to church every Sunday and all you show the world is that you are not Roman Catholic and you disrespect the most sacred day of the year for Roman Catholics, you know, I would just say, make sure you remember all of these things when you're stepping into that little box in November, because somebody who's going to pander to a small group of people that lead the most radical agendas in American history, instead of the security and the base of America itself, that person should be really, really looked over a second time. And you know what I used to love to do? And I'm getting into the thick of it, aren't I, guys? I used to love to look at, I didn't want to hear anybody. I wanted to look at data. I wanted to look at accomplishments. And so I did something once because I was trying to figure out how to explain what was good about number 45. Because no matter what you think about the rhetoric, you have to look at policy. You have to look at the wallets of everyday Americans. You have to look at what's the differential between what you're making and what you have to pay to stay alive. And when you look at all these things, what you see is a pretty stark difference between what we're getting today and what we got then. And to me, what I've seen, and again, I'm just calling it the way I see it, I saw a guy who was ridiculed for saying, I care about my country. And I care about making sure this country is as good as it possibly could for the future, okay? To the point where we were completely energy independent, the lowest carbon footprint on Earth as a country, and then we're forced to be in these Paris Accords and all these things where we're already doing the work. We were already the lowest on Earth, or close to the lowest on Earth. And there's no need to be in some sort of completely socialist type of, do you guys understand what the concept there is? It's like if you go over your level, your threshold for carbon, then you have to pay a tax. What does the tax do? Nothing. The tax doesn't do anything. It's just a tax you have to pay that they pocket. It doesn't do anything. And so these people buy credits. That's what Bill Gates calls it. I buy credits. What do you mean you buy credits? I can use my jet, I can do whatever the hell I want, you know? And when I go and I try to help an indigenous tribe, you know, it's like this total scumbags, you know? So I just feel like you have to understand that this is the biggest charade I've ever seen in my life. When you have shills nonstop, just battering a platform, the one that's actually you could actually speak on. They batter X with these lies, the propaganda. And it's like, I don't understand how anybody can't see the world that we're in and be like, I got to run as far as I can from this. And I don't want 4 more years of it. You got to be kidding me. 4 more years of this will bankrupt every single person in America who's not part of that 1% of 1%. You can't survive. I just saw a great video the other day. Someone's like, he's like, guys, he's making like really good money and he can't even survive. He's like in a single apartment. It's like, it is so ridiculous. Eggs, everything is so expensive. You know, my wife came home and showed me our grocery bill for the week. Over $500, guys. $500 for groceries. These people should be ashamed of themselves, but they're not. Do you know how much money they sent out of this country this year in the last 2 years? All of that money should be for us. We wouldn't be paying what we're paying. We would still have excellent mortgage rates here. All this stuff would be totally different if we didn't have a government that's bleeding in spending. It's so massive. We don't need that many people working in government. You need such a small group of people to get it all done, to get the real work done. It's bloated and it needs to come to an end. But you can't talk that way. You can't say that there are term limits and all these things that are necessary in order to not have corruption. Let these people, how does Nancy Pelosi have $120+ million? How? Oh, but I want to see the billionaires' tax returns. I want to see the billionaires' tax returns. No, I want to see the public servants' tax returns who came into office making $94,000 a year and has $120 million. Do you know there's no way to do that? You can't. You can't make $30 million making $94,000 a year as a public servant. You can sell your office. You can work out side deals. You can publicly, basically in the face of everybody else, just use the system to insider trade and be on these different committees that get you the insight to what's happening in the real world, in the finance world, so you could turn $94K into $120 million. So I'd actually prefer to see not just her bank accounts or her taxes, I'd also like to see her record of wins on the stock market and then correlate that with all of the committees she's ever been on. That would actually be a really interesting documentary, wouldn't it? I wonder if I could do that. Someone wants to help me with that, gather that. I'll do the story. Because that would be a really good one. And this wouldn't just be for Pelosi. It should be for all politicians. Like, give me the info, guys, if you want to break it down and let me do the report. Or we could do it in tandem together and just talk it out. But this idea of laying out all of the big wins. Oh, she made $180,000 on NVIDIA on like a 1 month period. Like, huh? What? She bought Roblox and then made like $3 million. Like, what? Wait, hold on a second. When was she on? Oh, she was on a Roblox committee, or she was on a social media committee, or she was on a gas and housing committee and found out about some, and it's all correlated to her being the most corrupt person that ever represented California. Oh, no. I'm sorry, you got Gavin, you got all morons. This isn't just Gavin, this is everywhere. I'll tell you what, guys, my biggest fear, and I think this is what we'll wind up realizing in the real distant future, or maybe you already know it too, but none of them are on our side. No matter what side you think you're on, you could be like, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. Everybody who's on your side, who's a Democrat or who's a Republican, they're out there showing you one face and they have a whole other face in a back room. And it's all about what they could do for themselves and not for us. And it's not like they work for us. They actually work together in a really creepy way. And they'll say they'll fight it out, guys, on camera. And then that camera goes off and it's like, they're buddies, they hang out at each other's houses, and there's a lot of real scummy stuff going on where you're like, wow, I really like my congressman or my senator because he's fighting for me. And in the back rooms, that senator's hanging out with the other side, and not everybody. I said that there's definitely not like, they don't love each other, but there's some that get along, and they work together to game the system and to pull the wool over our eyes. It happens every single day. And you see these people who switch sides. They should vote for something that's only going to help Americans, and instead they vote the other way. And the only reason is because they've taken a payout so big that they can't vote the correct way of their conscience. They have to vote the way of the payout. So you'll see things that just don't make sense. Like every single Democrat voting against having an ID. Like, well, and voting against all this weird stuff that you're like, you'd have to be insane not to vote against. And it's like, there's got to be more of a reason than just that you really love illegal immigration. Like, I don't understand, you can't like focus on actual, like having immigration so you know who's coming in. You're documenting it again like we used to do. There's a great video, if you haven't seen it, of the former president twice over, Barack Obama, saying we can't have 1,500 people a day coming through our border. It's not sustainable. 1,500 guys. Do you know this amazing border bill that they're blaming the Republicans for not signing? Do you know that it allows 5,000 a day through? 5,000 a day. That's 1.8 million a year. And that's just like, you had Obama say you can't have more than 1,500 coming a day. And they want to push through 5,000. And it's like, guys, why do you want to give away your country? I don't understand it. You think these people are all coming here with really great intentions? You think they're coming here because they want to go and vote for you, Sleepy? I don't think so. They're coming here to game the system, to murder people, to steal from them, to squat in their houses so they could steal your property. Because they're used to murdering people and stealing property and taking what they want and dealing drugs in order to get their to bring a means to an end. These people do not believe the same thing as you. They do not have the same faith in humanity, and they don't care about life. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They've had to murder to survive. And we're here, we're not murderers as a nation. We have a set of laws. And when you tell people, come on in. My favorite was some stupid freaking moron saying, I'd much rather share my country with illegal immigrants than with a MAGA. With a MAGA, and with someone who's MAGA. And I just simply responded, so you'd prefer to have someone who doesn't follow your rules and your law over having a conversation with someone who disagrees with you. Got it. And you start hearing how stupid people are when they say stuff like that. It's like, you got a guy who's okay to murder. He's fine with it. He'll deal fentanyl to your child. He'll do things to your wife. He doesn't give a crap if you're there. If you're watching, he'll shoot you while you're there and then do what he wants anyway. And that's the same. Not everybody, but these people have done that. Okay, we don't do that here. There's some scumbags, but we don't do that as like a natural thing because we're trying to get bread that day. That's what it happens down there in these really, really seedy parts of the world. And you're offering them free houses, a debit card, look guys, we'll take care of you. We'll give you clothes, a cell phone, I'll put you up in a place. Remember the free houses thing? We're working on that one. But no, we don't want $5 billion to close the border. Yeah. So yeah, guys, they come with good intentions. They're taking the jobs because we all get to pay lower. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, definitely. And I didn't want to be on very long because I have a lot of work tonight. But we'll get past this. Remember, the story here was more about the solar. What the freaking hell is happening here? Are you guys worried at all? It doesn't seem like you are, but tomorrow, I'm here close to the water, and I'm nervous about that just because of worst case scenario. So I'm planning on at least having like a bug out bag, some water, and being with the kids, my wife across town at the school, and then worst case scenario, just hopping out and driving into the country as far as I can to hopefully run away from whatever the hell's going on. But I don't know if that's going to even be possible if it's that bad. If it's a major, major thing, like, I don't know if the ground is shaking and the trees are freaking flying out of the ground, like, who knows? It could last a very long time, and it's just like, there's a lot of weird stuff that could happen here. So I'm praying none of it happens. Like I said, I don't think we know the time, the day, or the place. So this may just be a lot of conspiracy theorists that are freaking us out, freaking me out for sure. So here's the NASA zip code for totality if you want to see, or where you are. Is it letting us see? Right here. Caribou, Maine. That's a cool name, actually. 222, 333 that's what I remember seeing. 333 is at the maximum right there. And that's in Caribou, Maine. That's the final maximum, I guess. And then, isn't this weird? I don't know what the answer is, but doesn't this go past other things besides North America? Like, doesn't it go through Europe or anything like that? Or, like, what's the story there? It just seems like it just goes through America and then it's, like, done? This thing doesn't carry more time. Maybe it's just like they literally are passing. So by the time this happens, Europe doesn't even experience it, I guess. It's also nighttime. I don't know. Just curious about that. But so tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to go live during this. There'll be an opportunity for us to see this a little closer and maybe get some video. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. But anybody have any thoughts besides stop talking about this silly stuff? You know, it's funny. I went so long without even talking about any of that stuff I talked about earlier. But the other day it started getting me just, it starts bothering me. You know, though, I will say something just because it's not the show I want to lead anyway. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be like talking about the things that we can't change and the things they want to continue to institute, because that's not what this program's about. You guys do get that everywhere else. So my goal is always to distract you from the negativity and from this disgusting world that's being broadcast all around us. We have our own entertainment and we have our own focus here when we're here. It's not on that stuff. So I apologize about that, Trish and everybody else. But sometimes I am human, so sometimes I wind up just letting it out, you know? And yeah, I am now demonetized, so there's like really no harm in me saying what I want. But I don't want to turn anybody off. I don't want somebody coming in who doesn't believe the things I'm saying about A or B, and then all of a sudden they decide not to tune in. I want to connect with everybody here, so it will be still comedy news, the solar thing. Okay, we have a storm. We have a potential earthquake again. We'll see. Hopefully not. But that's what we'll stay with, is the funny news or current events that are non-political. Kill it and grill it, S-Coop. Ron, my brother, kill it and grill it. Helen Gale, so happy that you're in. Helen, thank you so much for subscribing to my Patreon. I got a notification, and I really appreciate that, because now being demonetized especially, that really does help. You know, just support in any manner for this show. Patreon's, I think, going to hopefully be a source for at least this show to not completely be running on fumes and doing this. I've been doing it for free the whole time, but to not be able to have the opportunity to even make money is a really bothersome detail about doing this daily for 1,923 days in a row. But I appreciate you guys. I'll keep showing up. Tomorrow I intend to bring you some music again. I'm sorry, I haven't sat on this thing in a few days, but I will definitely get some music for you for tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you guys will at least understand I have a lot of work to do still, especially I was caught up building these beat seats, so I didn't get a chance to do all my other chores, I would say. So I have to get that going. I already got a notification from my wife about it. And so that's why I'm going to get that done. But I will tell you, tomorrow morning I will be live, 9 a.m. as per usual on Mondays. And we'll be talking about whatever's going on in the news tomorrow morning. There's still probably a lot of talk about the eclipse. But I do plan on vertically going live during the eclipse from my YouTube channel. It will be the only place you see this show because it's vertical. So head over to YouTube and make sure you've subscribed and turn on all notifications. And I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll go live during it just so we can experience it together, you know. And if you have any questions, make sure you DM me. You can do that, mp@markpires.com. You can send comments during or after the show, and I'll try my best to get back to you on each and every one of those. And besides that, I think it's been a long weekend. I'm looking forward to get some rest and see if tomorrow I can just wake up with a little bit more pep in my step, even though the front part of the show was pretty funny until I got into the deeper stuff. Oh, goodness. So, guys over here in Clapper, Julio, how are you, my friend? Stacy, Sayapa, and Eddie, good to see you. Betancourt, good to see you, Eddie. Edie, I think it's Edie or Eddie, one or the other. S-Coop, you're awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kill it and grill it. Ron Tyler. Let me see if I can say good night to you guys real quick over here on YouTube. Who's with us? Helen, kill it and grill it. Ron Tyler, S-Coop. And if anybody else is out there doing a lurkaroo, thank you for being here. Apologize if I if I wasn't able to stay on task for tonight, but don't worry about that for tomorrow. We'll be back to the normal laughing about everything else in the world show. And then, of course, music at night. Helen Gale, thank you. You're awesome. Herkle-durkle in it. Helen's Herkle-durkle in it. Guys, if you haven't seen my Herkle-durkle piece of comedy, it's pretty funny stuff. You can check it out on YouTube. Until tomorrow.
You got to go away.
I gotta put a new album out too, guys. I'm working on that.
You got to go away.
See you guys later. Got to go away.
You got to go away.
Have a good night, everybody. Total Eclipse tomorrow, 1925.
You got to go away.